Coming up on Rugby Wrap-Up, Major League Rugby stuff with Rugby United New York's owner James Kennedy and number 8 Ross Deacon. Highlights from professional rugby in the Bronx. Brought to you by our friends of the British Council. Hey everybody, welcome back to Rugby Wrap-Up. Matt McCarthy here in New York City, talking rugby at Studio 34, the Fantasy Sports Network. We have a big Major League Rugby segment for you today about the epic event at Gaelic Park in the Bronx. That's right, professional rugby in the Bronx, in New York City. We have the owner of Rugby United New York, James Kennedy, and the number 8, the dashing Irishman, Mr. Ross Deacon, who's actually born in San Francisco. Ross, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me.
James, welcome.
Great to be here, Matt.
All right, fellas, before we start chatting, we have highlights of the epic day, which began with the fire department edging out the police department in a nail-biter, warming up the battle between New York and Boston. But let's let the tape talk for itself. Let's go to the highlights.
These highlights brought to you in part by AFIA Sports Training Group and Friends of the British Council.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Gaelic Park in New York City, the Bronx to be specific. A great, gritty backdrop. Rugby United New York and the Boston Mystics making history.
Can you smell that in the air? History is in the air. It looks fantastic.
And the first try goes to New York. The captain, the butcher, Dylan Fawcett. He doesn't want to give that ball away. Marcus Walsh trying to poke it in, and he does. The scrum half. Hume with a little grubber. Look at this. And it's a try.
What a try.
Spectacular try for New York. Here I am saying I don't like the kick from Hume. That's why I'm in the booth.
Take a bow.
Wow.
Take a bow. That
wow. And it is indeed verified. A tremendous try. That is Michael St. Clair.
Really well finished try.
Wow.
To keep the ball alive there, the pace to finish it, the balance to stay on your feet. Tick them all off the list there. He's done everything you need to score a try in rugby there.
There's Vakasisi Kakala, and he is in for a try. There's Ross Deacon, and we got a little Donnybrook here in the Bronx. Imagine that, Boston versus New York.
Who would have thought? I know.
He fell off his feet accidentally when he got back to the scrum.
Alex, he fell off his feet accidentally. How many times does that happen at Gaelic Park?
I need to remember that excuse if I ever play rugby again.
There are a lot of people falling off their feet accidentally here at Gaelic Park. Oh, there's a huge run. Look at it. He's going all the way. A little Mike Petrie.
Look at Mike Petrie.
He's going to go into the try zone.
He's in there.
Oh, Mike Petrie.
Look at the way they've kept the front together. They've not sort of gone around an edge, and now as they get to the line, then they can spin round at the time where you can score the try. It's a very, very well worked forward try there. Here we go.
Oh, look at the big man,
Great
Brakely.
offload.
And who's that?
I believe that is
that guy again.
Petrie.
That kid's got a future in this game, I'll tell you
They're
that.
back four.
Petrie puts it into touch, and that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Gaelic Park, Rugby United New York, Boston, history made. A final score of 50-0.
We put up half 100 in our first ever home game, sold the place freaking out. People hanging for the rafters, and you start off like you're a librarian.
Let's try it again.
That was freaking horrible.
Let's try it again.
Horrible.
That was pretty cool, right? Pretty cool day.
Yeah.
I mean, you would know you had the best seat in the house at number 8, and you paid for his seat.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Were you stunned by the turnout?
No.
You fully anticipated a sellout.
I anticipated there would be a lot of people there, and I'm very, very happy, excited that there was that many people there. I know if we play again next week, we can double that crowd, and we can double it again and again and again, because you talk to anybody who was there, the buzz, the atmosphere, the feeling, the old school rubbiness of it. was just amazing. It just felt rugby all the way through. The kids, the teams that represented, just amazing. Just flipping amazing.
Stellar black backdrop.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, amazing.
Stellar, amazing, New York.
That fake backdrop of the subways was the best thing we ever spent money on. I mean,
CGI.
I wasn't sure. Was it CGI? Was that what it was?
CGI. It was.
So we just built a really expensive green screen and put the CGI of the subways in there.
It was all post-production work.
It was a fantastic, Matt.
Guys, we do have to take a quick break.
Okay.
So we'll take a break, and we'll come right back.
We should talk to Ross at some point.
And we'll talk to Ross at some point. Right after this.
If you're in New York City and want to watch some great rugby, have some great food, and some great times, go to the world's best rugby pub, the Pig and Whistle on West 36th Street.
If you're just joining us, this is a big match and a big moment as Clijsters toes the line.
You know, John, Anderson has really been struggling out there today. Mistake as Clijsters clinches another title. Don't let your nutrition get in the way. USANA, the official multivitamin of the WTA.
Hey, we're back at Rugby Wrap-Up. Matt McCarthy in New York City, Fantasy Sports Network, Studio 34 on West 35th Street. James Kennedy of Rugby United New York and Mr. Ross Deacon of Rugby United New York. We left at the break where you were insisting that we speak to your 8-man /6/7 because you could basically play anywhere in the back line. I was watching that. Your performance up close on Saturday, and you were all over the pitch, and I apologize to you.
In a good way. He was all over the pitch in a very organized and specific way.
Well, I wouldn't indicate to a man that's larger than me in punching distance that he was all over the pitch in a bad way.
Okay.
Right? Just that he's the editorializer over there. Ross, after watching the match again and again, I realized you're basically in every play, every breakdown. And you're playing in the Bronx. The Bronx is synonymous with the New York Yankees. And in baseball, you have the opening weekend, and you have all kinds of stuff going on with America's pastime. Baseball teams are built on strength up the middle. And you guys are strong up the middle. You got Fawcett at hooker. You got you at number 8. You got Walsh at scrum half, and you got Hume in center field at 15.
Brackley and Gannon is probably the best lock pairing in the country.
Oh, all right.
No, is the best lock pairing in the country.
I'm not leaving them out.
Yeah,
I'm just
up the middle.
It's like catcher, shortstop, center field. It's a baseball analogy.
I thought we were on a rugby show.
It's a baseball analogy for rugby. He tells us to talk to his 8-man, and then
hang on. Ross was born in San Francisco, but he left there as a 1-year-old, and he may not know that much about baseball.
I've been following the Yankees. All right.
All right, good.
Whoa.
That's the wrong show. Wrong team. Anyway, Ross. Strong up the middle. You guys look like you do what you're doing out there. Did you anticipate that drubbing of Boston?
No, not really. To be honest, I knew we were going to be in a bit of a fight at the beginning of the game, but it didn't seem like a 50-point game. If you know what I mean. When we came off the field, we didn't think, we've just beaten Boston by 50 points. It never felt that way. I mean, there was a couple of soft tries and a couple of mistakes and stuff like that, but I don't think we ever felt as though we were, completely running away with it. They were still, we still couldn't switch off with them, do you know what I mean? So, we just had a good day out. I think everyone was up for it.
They kept coming.
That's a lot of reason why the score was so high, because they kept coming. They didn't curl up and say, okay, we're going to preserve 20-point loss and maybe nick a couple of penalties. They kept on coming, and when. Listen, we're able to bring on Mike Petrie, with 10, 20 minutes to go.
Yeah.
That's a huge difference. So we're bringing on fresh, experienced guys that can tear people to shreds.
3 World Cups under his belt.
Yeah, 3 World Cups.
Yeah.
If he plays like that, it'll be 4 World Cups.
Right.
Right. So.
Oh, wait a minute. Speculation?
Speculation.
Speculation. We love speculation. Ross, you want to second the speculation? Mike Petrie going for his 4th World Cup?
Absolutely, yeah. Can't see why not.
You heard it here first.
So Ross, are you saying that Mike Petrie's better than Marcus?
Never. I'm not. I'm completely objective in all this stuff. So.
He's learned to ride the fence well with his background at Lansdowne and the under-20s of both Ireland and the USA.
Yeah.
That's pretty. That's a pretty cool feat.
Been around, all
right? And you did it when you were 35.
Exactly. When I look 35.
With the nose and glasses. No, you don't. You don't look a day over 22, my friend. God bless you. James, you mentioned the depth, and it's the difference between a men's club and a professional team. We were talking about it during the match, how you got guys coming off the bench. It doesn't matter what the score is for both sides. They're playing for a spot. They're playing to play for rugby for a living.
Did you see Fury when he
I
came
did.
on the field?
Yeah.
You know, and he didn't make
Jake
Fury. He didn't make the bench the week before. You know, not because there's a limited amount of spaces on that bench, but like he came on and he tore it up.
Yeah.
Like, fucking hell.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
the brunette Thor.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know. That's a bit weird, but yeah.
But we can get weird here. It's okay.
Our bench is strong, and the club players in the clubs that when they go practicing are playing for positions on our team. Like, we have an amazing squad. I talked to an agent today out of England, and he was like, "Oh, I got this guy, and this guy." I'm like, "Well, they're gonna have to earn spots. There's no space we can give up. There is no spot on our team where we're weak. They have to. You can send out whoever the hell you want, but they have to earn their spot the same as everybody else. So I'm not giving anybody a contract out of the UK because they were lucky enough to be on a good team for a while. This is a good team. Yeah. I wish we were playing the MLR now? Yeah, I do, because we'd win it. We'd walk away with it. I believe in these players. We would crush people right now, but we're not in it because we have logistics. It's New York. It's not easy to do things here.
I'll tell you what, though. If Gaelic Park was your home park, you'd sell out all the time.
We'd sell out.
Just the atmosphere, the bar. You know, there was empty seats on camera, but it was because the bar, the storied bar, was jam packed.
Longest
the
bar in New York
entire
City.
time.
Yeah.
Right, and people don't understand that. They just see this thing, and it was crazy in there. We no, it was just electric, soup to nuts.
Yeah,
and it was great to be part of. It was a lot of hard work on the part of a lot of your folks, specifically
my staff, and Nishant and Brian, Neve, Kevin KJM the third, McCrory,
yeah.
All those guys. I worked their butts off for weeks and weeks and weeks, and it's all to them. And then the players showed up and kicked ass.
And despite the fact, did you think you were going to be playing in snowshoes? Because Mother Nature dumped a storm on us in midweek where, I know, we were all a little bit uncomfortably anxious about how we were going to pull that off other than having show snuffling thing, right? It was just crazy.
Well, we're a rugby team, not a soccer team. We're playing.
Of course.
We're effing playing. So, and geez, did we play, right? So, I mean, we lit it up. And instead, I feel bad for the players because they need a crack. They need a crack at Glendale. They need a crack at Houston. They need a crack at San Diego, and they will crack them in half.
Yeah.
So
those are big words.
Hey, backed up by big men. And I'm excited for the MLR because look at what we can do. Look what we can do as an MLR. Look what we can do as a league. And I can say that you have to earn your spot on this team right now.
Ross, you've played in front of some crowds before. You've played some great rugby in your life. You grew up in a great rugby environment.
He grew up in a trailer park.
And in the tinker, he was a tinker.
He was always a very deep tinker.
Tinker RFC.
He was always in pause.
Tree. He was tree types.
He was of the traveling people.
So for the folks at home, Google tinker. What was this like for you?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, it was. I suppose I haven't played in that sort of an environment in nearly 2 years now since I've been here. So it was great to get that sort of a crowd. It's not something that you'll see all the time. I mean, down in Houston we had a bit of a crowd when I played with Nyack as well, but just in New York to get that kind of a crowd to a rugby game is phenomenal. Like, do you know what I mean? And I think the venue was perfect for it as well. So, long may it continue. Like, do you know what I mean? Like you said earlier, you can't get any more New York than seeing the snow there and seeing the subways just above you. Like, do you know what I mean? It's kind of a landmark spot. So
Gaelic Park, you got Irishmen throughout your roster. You got an Irish owner. Any time you had to say, wait, where am I? Am I in New York or am I in Ireland?
No, you knew you were in New York. You always knew you were in New York.
Can he answer the question, please?
I'm answering for the guy, all right?
You're not
He's getting to the next breakdown.
He's fine. he can handle himself.
So what?
Oh, there you go. Sabotage. Sabotage. I want to get last word from you. What is your impression going forward of professional rugby in the United States compared to what you've seen over in Europe?
I mean, it's very encouraging to see now. Like, I just can't wait till we get a crack at the actual MLR itself next year. I mean, the exhibition is fine, but you want to be in the real thing. You want to be against that sort of an opposition and have something to really play for.
Ross, can I ask you a question? How would you fare against an MLR All-Star team?
Right now? Yeah. I reckon we'd have a crack against anyone. I think with that group of lads...
You're saying, bring it, MLR. We'll play your All-Star team. And we'll
I think that's what he's saying.
That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
Would we play that game in Red Bull?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, you're hearing it here, folks. This is breaking news. We have a challenge to the MLR from an MLR owner. MLR All-Star game against Rugby United, Red Bull Arena. What month?
Do it after the season, right? So we do it in July?
July. You look for it, folks. The MLR All-Stars versus Rugby United New York at Red Bull Arena in July 2018. You heard it here first, right?
Yeah.
All right. On that note.
I don't know if they'll step up there. I don't know. I think they'd be scared.
Oh, the gauntlet. You talk about gauntlets being thrown. He's got to be a regular on this show. This is beautiful. You finally come out of your show. You found your swagger here on Mike.
Well, you know, I've seen how bad you are. So
okay, fair enough. Well, whatever works. You know what Harry Truman said? It doesn't matter
who you bomb as long as you drop the bomb.
No, he also said pass the catch up, please. But he also said it doesn't. It's amazing
what did he say?
It's amazing what you can accomplish if you don't care who gets the credit.
Yeah.
Write that down. Anyway,
you know I can't write. That's not fair.
Thank you for coming on. You played a stellar match.
Thank you.
And I personally wanted to apologize for not noticing that ahead of time.
No,
but the post was in my way.
I tell you what, Ross was bang up, but Mike Sinclair was amazing.
Oh
as
yeah.
Well. You know, there was Luke Hume again, always. Right, so
everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere. I mean, there was 3 or 4 guys that man in the match.
Well, to be honest with you, it was a difficult choice. We picked Dylan Fawcett, and that was out of Alex Corbisiero and Phaidra Knight and I. But it could have been anybody, really, because right throughout the roster, you guys had performance after performance. St. Clair scored the most electric try. There's not going to be a better try this season. I'll go out on that limb.
I disagree. I think Mike Petrie's first try with Jake Fury break was a better try.
It was great.
Jake's break was just electric. He was on the crowd side, so obviously both of them were on the crowd side.
But it also combined every athletic move that you can do in rugby. That's the thing, and keeping his balance, getting the hand down, all of it.
Yeah.
All right, but it was to have this kind of argument about professional rugby in New York City is what makes this whole thing great.
It's a nice change, right?
It is. It is so much better than, hey, did you see the Manhattan versus New York B game after this? But anyway, congratulations, guys. Glad to have you on the show. Very happy that you guys have this thing going on, and I'm looking forward to more of it. Mr. James Kennedy.
Thank you, Matt.
And Mr. Ross Deacon.
Thanks very much, Matt.
And on that note, Matt McCarthy talking rugby in New York City, professional rugby in New York City at the Fantasy Sports Network, Studio 34 on Rugby Wrap-Up, which you can catch on all social media platforms and in a podcast. Signing off.